So that's how that one's gonna roll. Pero luego, like Laco says, all right, cool. If it does happen, then what are they gonna do? Because the
Yes.
proceeds of this match, they're not staying in the Mexican Federation. They're going to the U.S. Soccer Federation.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do? Lose money that we're not earning? Cool. Like these are your fans. The U.S. has done zero measures to implicate a fan ID, which you know we're gonna need by the World Cup.
Yeah.
So what are you really gonna do to one discourage American fans? Because if anything, all right, this is gonna be an American issue because Mexico, como dijeron, they blast it over the stadium all the time. You always hear it. So where is the problem being grown? Is it being grown here? Is it being grown in Mexico? And even
Yeah,
so, how do you tackle not just that, but it's more of a cultural issue, right?
yeah.
Like,
I think you got it with the fan ID. Ultimately, I think that's what. If they were like really serious about it, they could easily get eradicate that just with the whole ID thing, and you would be banned from going to games.
I want to play this out because I'm looking at this as a win-win situation for us, right? Us, the fans that are unhappy with the mediocre product that's being put out by the Mexican national team. So let's say that tomorrow they have a terrible night and the US beats Mexico, and at the same time there are a lot of unruly fans that yeah, towards the end of the game start saying some things that they shouldn't be saying, and we end up getting punished. What does that mean for Mexico? We are no longer allowed to have friendlies in the United States. What's that going to look like for the Nations League and for the Gold Cup? And where would that put Diego Coca's job on the line, right? So, like, this could be a win-win situation for Mexico.
Win. I don't know, man. If they were to ban like Max, those tournaments are happening in the U.S., including Copa America. So why would you want to miss out on a Copa America?
Hey man,
so
if we can hurt them where it counts, which is the wallet, and also see Diego Coca's dismissal, bro, this would
They,
be the biggest victory of all
they,
victories.
they would just have Max play in like in the you,
Which
they,
where they should be
you
playing.
say that.
They should
Which
be
that
playing in
happened
Mexico. Why are they playing all their games here? They're not
because
even from
they,
here.
they they did that in the what was it, oh three Gold Cup or two or three. I think it's, I can't, my memory's fuzzy.
2003 when they beat Brazil.
Yes, yes, and a lot of games were played in the U.S., but Mexico played all their games at Azteca. I don't know if Jalisco hosted matches, um, but but I mean that would be a possibility. But it's just too much money, dude. I don't think like Soccer United Marketing or even CONCACAF wanna miss out on that, and
Hey
and
all
man,
right,
if this was
let's be
school,
honest.
if this was school, I hope we get expelled and we have to go to a different district. And then
Like the
uh,
only
dude,
the
this
only thing that would really hurt us is if they take away the World Cup, right? Like, how are you gonna learn this lesson? Que te va a doler más que nada? We're gonna take away the World Cup. Your country is no longer found fit because you are homophobic and your culture is homophobic,
oh man.
yeah, but they
right?
can do
Imagine
that
doing
now
That
that.
would be the
because
way.
Qatar, dude,
Imagine doing that after
Qatar,
Exactly, but
Qatar,
then that's the
bro.
argument.
like
Like Qatar,
the,
way que pasó? Russia, like all the other ones.
no,
And
but
so
Yeah.
like
Russia was due to
that would
war.
be the
That was due to
argument.
war.
That
No, no,
would
no. But
be
No,
before, when
but
they hosted the
Qatar was
World Cup, it was their whole anti-gay thing, and that was also a big spotlight. So the fact that it was given to Russia and then it was given to Qatar
yeah. So
was
so
like
they're
the
not.
hot topic of like what leg does FIFA have to stand on human rights, right? But now that's being imposed on us, and if there's really any punishment that's really gonna hurt, that's really gonna change the Mexican fan base, that's really gonna have a resounding impact, it would be us losing the World Cup. But guess what? It's not gonna happen.
they don't have the
Yeah,
It's
balls.
no,
They
too
don't have the
much
that's
balls
money.
to do that.
They don't have it. They don't
well,
have it.
no,
And that would
it,
be the
it,
only thing that would change us. Right?
but
Because
you know
what? It's
what?
been 5 years. It's been
No,
five
but think
years
of,
and nothing has changed.
I know, but think about it. A lot of this outrage is online, and if you like were to do the numbers, it's minuscule. So, and the media just always makes it look worse than it is. So they like to, like you'll see the
I will
all
counter
the
that with
complaints and all
the
of.
the fact that mob mentality is a real thing. Yes, it is very small, but all it takes is two or three guys in the center, y luego otro, y otro, y otro, and that's how a mob gets started.
No, no, I know, but see,
So therefore, once that happens, ya estoy medio pedo, y sabes que we're losing. And now here's the other question:
no, no,
who
no.
is
But
getting
my
called
my
puto? Is it the other team or is it my own goalie, my own team that isn't performing well? Who am I
no,
expecting more out of?
no, my take is on the whole punishing Max by taking something away from them because
Mm-hmm.
uh, the 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 pressure the pressure to do something about it was coming mostly from like online community. That's kind of where it started, going back to 2014, and that's where people started like complaining online, saying, "Oh, this was this," and that's kind of where you see it more. And how we know that at the end of the day, it wasn't like they didn't give in, because the whole Qatar, dude, it was like the whole country, and they
Yeah.
they did try. There was a push for a while, and nothing happened, and the ratings weren't affected. Nothing happened at the end of the day, dude. They even said, you know, because they had, I can't remember too much, but I think they said like if they would like if the chant was heard at the World Cup, that they would like give Mexico an L or something like that. But I remember like once heading in, they said like boys will be boys, dude. They just like whatever, whatever, dude. This is Qatar, like it's a whole other shit over here. And so, but that's what I'm saying right now, where it's like they know, like these companies, because it's a lot of it is through the it's you know a lot of this happened because it wasn't FIFA and it wasn't like CONCACAF and all them. The pressure was coming because like the sponsors.
Hmm.
So the pressure will go to the sponsors and be like, "Oh, Adidas, you're allied to this or you're into that." So they were kind of worried it was gonna hurt the brand, and so it's kind of like where we're seeing it right now, what's kind of happening and what happened with the Bud Light recently when they did the cans with the Mulvaney, and how it's just become a big issue, and but I think it's been so long now. It's dude since 2014. It's almost 10 years.
Hmm.
It's been 10 years and they haven't gotten rid of Chad. Nothing's happening, dude. I don't think nothing happened in all this time, and I don't think nothing's gonna happen now.
Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna happen. I think that rumor was just brought out. So when the Puto
Like,
chant does happen, the U.S. soccer tried
yeah,
to like wash their hands from it. Oh, we told them, we warned them. But come on, nothing's gonna happen. They're not gonna get rid of Mexico cash cow for Concacaf. You pull Mexico out, and you stop bringing in those dollars for Concacaf events. That's easily 60% of your revenue right there. And then the other thing, Mexico needs to stop being stupid instead of bending over for all these stupid rules because
Hmm.
everybody knows it's not homophobic. Mexico needs to do a reverse Uno. They need to force one of the players on the squad to come out as gay, so then they can't call you homophobic. So then, so
Where's
then
Jonah
they
dos
kick out.
Santos where we need him?
That
Where's
way it can
Jonah?
be soy
dude,
puto y que cabrón.
Yeah,
you
so
you
somebody
beat
needs
me
to come
to
out gay, and then they ban you. Then they're
the.
homophobic for banning you
You,
because you got an
you,
openly gay player.
well, we need three at least. You need, but you beat me to the Uno reference. I was trying to make it and I just couldn't. I couldn't think of the card. you, you nailed it. I was trying to yeah. That who you put though, man?
Uh,
We don't have Salcido anymore. That guy was
Wait,
ahead
just for
of
the
the
hair,
game.
Acevedo. That beauty routine has to be so long.
It's, he gets treatments. Yes.
yeah, Acevedo, perfect. Hey, look,
That's it.
Acevedo, Ochoa's gonna be the starter for 2026 unless you're willing to do this.
Damn.
You need to come out as gay, man.
Acevedo, we're going into Seattle. You know what you have to do.
Oh man.
You got to take one for the team, bro.
You got to take on the whole team.
Yeah.
This conversation went south. It
This
took a left turn
conversation.
somewhere. We we're not even talking about football anymore.
If U.S. soccer fans listen to this episode, they'll be like, "I told you they were homophobic."
Nah, they're
This segment is sponsored by Bud Light.
but like no, I always felt that the fans were homophobic because of Salcido, man. That dude was put on
Oh,
blast since Brazil World Cup. His pictures were leaked. His relationships with you know,
yeah.
and I
I don't know
never
about
saw him.
homophobic though. I think it's just like paisa carrilla, just poking fun.
It
But
is.
I don't
But
think it's
see, that's
like
what.
homophobic intention.
No, but did you ever see like Salcido get any, and that the fans turn on him or they'll yell stuff at him? I never saw anything happen.
That's what I'm saying. I
And
don't think
and
like there's a homophobic nature behind like like to the seriousness of like racism in America, where like you actually have like white guys chasing down a black guy in a truck and killing him. Like that's racism. I don't think the severeness of homophobia in Mexico is to the extent that they're trying to make it look. Even puto, there's no homophobic meaning behind it. It's just like an insult. But no one is actually thinking of like the word like fag, like
Literally.
FAG
Yeah.
when they say puto. No one has that in
yeah,
their mind.
there's and yeah, and there's a lot of examples because I know in Mex they've had like in Mexico they had legalized same-sex marriage way before the U.S. and even they've had like those pride parades. But there's this pretty good documentary on Sun Vice. It's pretty old. I can't remember the name, but it was like Las Margaritas or something like that.
Ah.
And it was like the trans that they would play soccer
Mhm.
right there in Tepito, and Tepito's like inner city, super dangerous, So if you
Bro,
think,
Tepito's like you're about to catch a knife in the road.
so it's like, where
Like,
could you
I'm from
get like?
Reynosa and I'm not fucking with Tepito.
Wow.
So you'll be like, where would you see some homophobes? And that place will probably have some, and not at all, man. They have their like trans World Cup or whatever it's called, but and it's a pretty good documentary. I
And
try to remember the name.
Yeah, I
that's one of
mean,
the things. Like, I don't know if this was just my upbringing, but I grew up, spending time in Mexico and things like that. And the whole third sex is a very real thing within the culture. I fotitos, there's transvestite, this and that. I grew up in my family. Dude, there was always two or three jotitos hanging around. Son amigos de mi tía, trabajan en las maquiladoras, this and that. And
Yeah,
it's like,
dude.
all right, cool. They're just one of us. Like,
Exactly.
it,
There's
it
n- there's no
wasn't that issue.
there's no
And that's just a
malice.
cultural thing.
Yeah. We just hate
And
the other opposing team, and that's just like,
that's it.
that's it. It has nothing to do with anything literally or like that, but it's
we just need to
2023,
start
bro.
chanting culero. That's all we need to start doing. Switch it to culero.
Yeah.
Can't. But
Ay, pero no
no,
huele
but
igual, güey.
Yeah, it
the
doesn't roll off the tongue.
Mexico's curse is that all this started with the U.S. saying it was homophobic and everything.
Hmm.
If Mexico geographically was not located to the U.S., this puto chant would have never became an issue. But just because America doesn't want to offend anyone from any side whatsoever, the fact that this chant started being heard in America, that's why it became an issue. But if the puto chant was in Venezuela, Brazil, Peru, you would not see articles about some homophobic chant at soccer stadiums because it wouldn't care. Because in that part of the world, it doesn't matter to them.
And let's talk about the real racism going on in Spain and in parts of Europe, Italy. Like those dudes are actually dropping like the N word, and it happens
Monkey
time and time
Chants,
again.
everything.
Time and
throwing
time again,
bananas
like
onto the pitch.
every week, bro. Like what's his name? Vinny from Madrid, bro. He been dog, bro, and They turn a
Yeah.
blind eye towards that stuff.
Lukaku 2
Yeah.
weeks ago. Apparently Sane from Bayern said something racist to Mane.
Hey,
So
he got hit in the face too.
yeah, so I just think this thing is being blown out of proportion just because Mexico is in America, and America is just a society that wants to please everybody, not offend anyone. So anything that might come out as offensive, it gets blown up. Like you mentioned Adidas. Adidas was started by Nazis, and no one's saying nothing
Yes.
there.
Adi Dadler.
Adidas.
Watch the
Yeah.
movie Air.
Oh,
They talk about
it's
it.
oh, I want to see
It's a
it. I
great
forgot.
movie.
It's called. I found the. It's called Las Gardenias. It's just like 20 minutes. You like soccer? It's pretty
You
interesting
have to
seeing.
drop it in the chat. I want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a pretty interesting. And you see like the people from there, and that's to me it's like what makes it more interesting because you're seeing like the actual people that live in the area and just how that's one part of their football that goes on there, or part of the football.
so looking at this match tomorrow, let's be honest. Mexico usually has like a friendly against the United States like once a year, once every other year. And they're trying to hype this up with the all-state name and endorsements. But realistically, how would you guys feel tomorrow if we end up losing to the United States?
No big deal for me, but I know for majority of fans it's gonna be rage inducing.
Honestly, I've been numb to the national team
You
like 6 months leading up to the World Cup. The only game where I got a little bit of emotion was actually the game versus Saudi Arabia, where I was like, "Holy fuck, let's just do it. Let's just make it to the next round. Yeah, okay, all is forgiven." And then you saw the stupid things they did, like doing on this, like. But my point was, back in the day, like, ooh, USA Mexico. I don't care if it was Molero, if it was official. I was looking forward to it. If it wasn't for you guys talking about it, I wouldn't even remember that they play tomorrow. Or like, it wasn't even on my schedule as far as like, oh, I gotta make time because I gotta watch the game before
yeah.
the match.
Yeah,
I'll give my take. So here's the deal. I'm gonna watch it to see how the team functions. Porque igual como mis padres de Parga, no hay pedo si perdemos si perdemos la Nations League. Now the Gold Cup, my dear good sir. Ahí sí se me van a calentar los huevos. Like we have to do something there. This isn't just a practice round because we're gonna have everybody in this one, dude. Have you seen the team that we're taking? The downs that we already have, las bajas que ya tenemos. Like we're not coming in with everything. So as long I want to see the tactical setup and what the plan is. Porque if we're just playing in the back, what the fuck are we doing? Like this isn't us. We're not even gonna try to attack. So that's the way I'm gonna watch it. Like y'all said, I've been dead inside for a little bit on this one just because of how bad it was performing. I would like to see this team firing on all cylinders, but honestly, this Diego Coca shit is starting to feel like a false flag.
yep.
Like he's just says the right and the wrong things at the same time, and he's like, "A los Estados Unidos siempre les tenemos que ganar." It's like, wait, you don't even know shit about this. Like you're new, you're new to the fucking country, the league, all of it. Like what have you really been doing here? I know you had a couple stints before and you failed in Mexico before y te sacaron y luego regresaste. So I just don't get it. And then also, and just to segue for a little bit, our number one pick, Almeida, has been taking a shit for the past 2 weeks.
In
So
Greece?
no shit, not Almeida. Pachuca, Pachuca.
Oh,
Um,
Almada.
Almada, ándale, has been taking a shit for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So ahí estamos, ¿verdad? That's the eye that I'm looking at it going into this game tomorrow.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the things that Coca says, sort of mixed feelings. one of the things that really irritated me was, they mentioned Pocho Guzman, the great form that he's in for Chivas, and that he has been for a while now. Obviously winning with Pachuca and all that. And he was like, "Hey, look, I only keep a radar on the players that I've called up, and I'm not really paying attention to everybody else." I'm like, dude, it's your job to look at it through a non-objective lens. You have to be watching everything, and you can't just be like, "Oh, these are my guys, and those are the only guys I'm gonna keep my eye on." Like, no, dude, what is wrong with you? I don't agree with it. I have a feeling he's just on a blacklist. He's just blacklisted. He's a player that's not allowed to play for the national team for whatever reason.
So, quick question: do you guys listen to any of the football stuff, a what used to be Fox Deportes and now is owned by like some other people that still run the name Fox Deportes in Latin America?
Not really.
They're doing, and one of the things that it might be with El Pocho's doping issue.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, the sponsors putting pressure on that, and like, hey, so you're kind of dude that known for doping, and what's the relationship here? That would be the only thing, porque si no, ¿qué chingados estás haciendo? ¿Te estás casando otra vez?
Yeah.
Wait, when he was
I
called doping
don't
though,
understand
it
it.
was after like results after a Pachuca game.
Correct.
Like he got tested after a Pachuca game, then the results came out later.
They knew about this a while ago, and they still let the transfer go through. It's not
Yeah,
like
but that's more.
it's not like,
That's my point.
oh,
But Pachuca never got in trouble, right?
I don't know how they kept it under wraps, right? But I mean, this was known ahead. It's not like they sold the car and the Carfax showed the whatever the car accident. Like, they knew about this shit, bro. They try to cover it up and play us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They never got in trouble. So let's say he were to get called up to the national team, and they have an official tournament, and he fails the drug test, like for cocaine. Like literally, what's the worst? I don't think they're gonna kick out the national team because it's not like what maybe you lose the game if at all.
But
Like a
it's a
liability
money
issue, you
issue.
mean?
It's a sponsors issue,
Yeah.
right? And it's the whole morality clause issue. And let's be honest, we've all known people who have gotten fired because of fucking morality clauses, right? So that is the devil in detail.
Yeah.
So what sponsors want to be associated with not just the team, let's say that specific player, right? And okay, well, that specific player is wearing the jersey that my name might not be on it, but practice squad is fucking lit up with my. So that's the whole funny money of in, and that makes sense. Like, why else would Pocho be blacklisted? Then comes the question of Funes Mori. He got a red. He got kicked out. Why aren't we calling him up? He doesn't play next week. He's a perfect candidate. But now, is it because Argentine doesn't want to take naturalizados? Like,
Yeah.
like we're literally getting the worst of both worlds.
Yeah. The only silver lining to this with Coca is he did finally call up some of his Atlas boys and Oziel Herrera. Everyone's excited about this guy. So I mean, I guess that's the silver lining. He did bring up some Atlas players. But I mean, the rule was that teams were only allowed to actually they weren't even they didn't have to release their players for this match because it's not an official window, and I think they try to do like 2 per club. So there were some restrictions with this particular call ups, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. What I will say is, if it's a pretty embarrassing scoreline, I can see Coca getting fired, bro. Like, I know I'm like kind of quick on the trigger, but if it's like substantially like it's a blowout, like we're talking 3-0, I don't know, bro. I don't see this dude waking up the next morning and still having a job.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the roster, and the U.S. roster. I mean, it's not impressive whatsoever. Actually, I think I find the Mexico one
Who does the
more
U.S. have?
promising. So I mean, goalie, I couldn't even tell you who one of those guys is. A defender, they got like Serginho Dest, who hasn't done nothing. And then outside of that, they got like Matt Miazga, the guy who like beefed up with Lightness.
Yeah.
He just got scored. He was starting center back over the weekend, and they scored 5 goals on his team, and he was a big fault at him. Other than that, they got Zimmerman, who's like older. They got Kellen Acosta, who does well for LAFC, but nothing crazy. Then up top, they got Cowell and Brandon Vasquez, who honestly, probably combined, they probably got like 3, 4 goals this season, if at all. So, I mean, it looks like a MLS versus Liga MX without foreigners and stars.
So both B teams.
Honestly, with the U.S. is looking like 3 A players, like Kellen Acosta type. Everybody else is like B and C. And with Mexico, you actually have some A's like Julian Araujo, Kevin Alvarez, Jesus Gallardo, Henry Martin, Alexis
Wait,
Vega.
isn't he injured? I think Martin didn't he get injured.
Oh, is he
Martin's
injured?
out.
Yeah,
So
Okay,
is
so wow,
Piojo
they only have
Herrera.
one striker, De La Rosa.
there was some last
That's
minute.
why the whole thing of Funes Mori, que pedo?
Huh.
Yeah, there were some last minute movements, and they called up 4 players that were not originally on the original list. Yeah.
Who's been called up?
So Edgar Lopez, Aldo Rocha, Victor Guzman, and Oziel Herrera.
So they do have Pocho.
No, it's the other Victor Guzman, the defender.
Monterrey one.
The fuck, Bizarro.
Yeah. There's 2 of them.
Fucking
Damn, so is De La Rosa the only striker? Huh.
I don't know who else.
Yeah, because the other one was Henry Martin, so Henry Martin's out, and then
So here's the thing. It's just like his own boss told him when during the day was you there is zero pressure for you to win this one, the next one, or even the following one. Nothing will happen. We will keep on rolling. Now, FF is known for false flagging. Okay. Pero for what? Why are we like Neta, what do you get from doing this to your base, your aficionado? Like you're giving us
Wait, what
blood
do
of
you
an
mean?
Argentine
What? No, these games
if
just
they're
had
doing a
to be
false flag.
played. It's just you had these games that had to be played. The team is it looks bad right now. I don't think it's as bad as it's made to look, but the media and such have painted the national team
Exactly.
in
The
a really
media's gonna
bad
try to.
picture, and then they piled on, oh, you got 3 defeats to the U.S., so this will be a fourth,
4th in a
you know,
row. Yeah.
and it's like, and then the media jump on that, and with the whole they're surpassing Mex, and then Mex fans very fragile and brittle. They're like, oh no, they go out Chicken Little, the sky is falling, and they make it seem like, oh yeah, it's true, and we suck, and it's like, well, it's not really, it's we've talked about this. I forgot which pod. One team usually has they'll take, they'll be the one winning for a while, and then it goes to the other team and back and forth. They've just had the advantage right now, but I haven't seen them completely surpass Mexico, where they're, playing them out of the field, completely humiliating them. They were all very close games. Golden goal, penalty kicks, just like a 1 goal difference. Very, hard fought games. It's not like they put 5-0 and the Mex team looked lost out there. Like they just couldn't stop them. It's not nothing like that. But to me, it does show like this fear of like, oh, the U.S. is gonna, you know, it's it's gonna happen and all of this. Which I think it's a little bit like, well, why are you worrying about that? If you're trying to next get to a quinto partido or even win a World Cup, You, chances are you might not even play the U.S. in a World Cup. So you're worrying about the wrong team here.
One little caveat, although this is a friendly, it is a cup match, so there will be a winner and a loser. The match will not end in a draw. I just wanted to throw that out there.
This is
How
the
will
last
that be
thing
decided?
I want to.
Penales.
This is the last thing I want to say about the whole Puto chant because this got me curious where all this came from. The original like leak or news came from a writer, Side Siegler. He's like a gay sports writer for a website called Outsports.com.
Uh-huh.
That's so same thing. It's like a pro gay sports website, and that's where it all came from. And then everybody else picked up on it. Then like Marca, like the Spanish newspaper,
Oh,
they
I see.
literally have it. Literally says the Mexican chant is mainly directed at rival goalkeepers. The word "puto" can be translated to English as "faggot," which is
Mm,
not, which is like, But now you see like how it started, like with like one pro
No,
gay website saying something, everybody else picked on it, and now it becomes a rumor.
yeah,
But the
no,
only
and that.
but the
I'm
only
sorry, I
thing
just
is, yes, the U.S. soccer passed some rule like last year, but it has zero intention of doing anything with Mexico.
I'm I'm surprised a Spanish outlet would get the wording wrong. It means prostitute.
Yeah, it's
That's what it
Marca
means. Not it
English
doesn't mean
website, but yeah, it
it
says
doesn't mean
different.
gay. It means prostitute.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the last thing I touch
But
on it. But yeah, it's just ridiculous how far it's gone.
Listen, fellow Latinx, we need to change our language. That's point blank.
You forgot to add he, him, and her.
what are
You
your
say
pronouns, Ricardo?
Curex.
Ame.
pro de
Puto, puta y putísima.
Grande, grandi, grando.
dude.
Hey, but
Yeah,
those Spanish guys, they don't have a leg to stand on. I mean,
no, but that was a
even the
thing. You, you go back then, and that was a whole thing where social media was exploding, and you had people that were like, it was kind of coming off of the Me Too movement, and they kind of saw as like there's some like power here where we can force change or do stuff. So I do feel in some part some people were on it for the right reasons, and then others just because they just like chaos, or they just maybe not realizing you're trying to impose ideologies or something on other people. But it's kind of like because it's been online mostly. This was all online stuff through social media where you would have all this pressure, and you would even see it where they would tag like the sponsors or whoever's related, and I saw it with like people too, like someone said something, say something stupid online, and then they'll find where he works, and then they'll tag the job and all that, and you'll see people getting fired. And so that's kind of where it was coming, where it was like it was getting crazy, where it was like shit, you know, you had to be like very very careful of what you said, because then they could paint you in a really bad way. And some people are just, sometimes you just say something stupid doesn't mean you're like that. Others, of course, they are like that, but it didn't matter. I felt like it was getting kind of crazy, um, all of that was going on, and yeah, it became so yeah, it was like what 2014 around that time.
it was a
The
witch
Mex,
hunt.
it
That's
was,
what it was.
but the chant had been around since what's it
The mid
2001.
'90s.
The 90s, it was the pre-Olympic. No, it was Atlas fans, and then Mexico fans. I think it was the same Atlas fans when Mexico was playing Preolímpico in Jalisco. So yeah, like what, 98, like 99 maybe? When was it? When was it? If only we had a thing to check.
but it was towards it was Atlas fans towards America fans or what? Or
I think they started it because of Osvaldo Sanchez.
oh, when he
Because
switched.
Osvaldo, Well, he started at Atlas, but
Yeah.
he got sold to America.
Oh man.
Just this guy would play the two biggest rivals and
Thanks
became a
for
saint.
reminding me,
He be,
man.
he became a saint to Chivas fans because he called him San Osvaldo. So
And you couldn't cut it in
that's
America.
but
Oh,
uh,
so yeah, yeah. I'll talk about Osvaldo later because I did listen to the podcast. He was on Ramon Ramirez's, Ramon Morales's podcast. And there was a couple things
I
out.
forgot to listen to
Yeah,
that
it's really good.
because I know they talked about his transfer to Santos
They
and
talked about all of
he was because they were the news was that he wanted more money
that.
and he denied it.
Yeah, so really quickly, the story about Osvaldo Sanchez, how he became pro, is he was actually scouted by Marcelo Bielsa, and he got the opportunity to play for Atlas. The goalie got injured, and he got to start in against America. Actually, that was his debut, and he had a really good outing with them. And then he got called up for the under 20s and for the national team, and somebody from America liked him, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna be playing for America," and he did, and he played for America, and then he woke up one day and he found out that he had been transferred to Chivas. Like they didn't even consult him or anything. He just the next day he woke up and Tuca Ferretti called him and said, "We won't like practice starts at 10 a.m." Yeah, so he joined Chivas, and you know the rest is history. But he did mention that the whole Santos transfer started even before the season was over. So as they were mentally preparing themselves for the final against Toluca, he was already getting hit up by Tigres and Santos. Like he says, like hours before the final, he said that, "Hey, we already uh, we already arranged it with Jorge Vergara, so you're going to be joining us, and we look forward to talking to you after the match." And this was with both Tigres and Santos. So Vergara negotiated him behind his back. He didn't even know, and yeah, he decided to go to Santos because I guess at the time they were the worst team in Liga MX, and he felt that he was up for the challenge, and he felt like the fans wouldn't hate him because he's not joining a direct rival, he's joining like the worst team, and he ended up obviously getting paid more as well. So yeah, interesting story about Osvaldo Sanchez.
2004 here I'm seeing Preolímpico. No, for the 2004 Olympics. So it was 2003
What are you talking about?
when they used the chant for the national team,
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
corner kick chant at Jalisco.
I see.
And then some crazy gay guy online started attacking Mexico.
All right, that is gonna happen, guys. I think we can, we can let this one go.
I
Ricardo,
hope they all scream puto and
I
it all
think
burns down. I
I
couldn't
think
care less.
I think if they would have never made a deal, they wouldn't have been using it anymore. But I think it got turned into such a big deal that a lot of fans not just say it now. Now it's
You can't
you
ignore it
know
anymore.
yeah, because
And these guys don't get that that racism, sexism, and even whatever you want, anti-gay is part of football. Every You go to South America, you hear the chants. You go to Europe, you go to Spain, especially Spain. You saw what they told Hugo. They called him an Indian,
yeah.
and they have all those funny names with their funny accents, with their funny words, and they don't have any a right to criticize a national team. They're just some crazy gay guy, like I said, that for whatever reason he doesn't know how to use a dictionary, and he felt attacked.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying because I was kind of the thing that was going on back then, and it was sort of like very similar to what was. I don't know if you guys saw this. Some of the stuff that was going viral, like some TikTokers that will go to a gym and say, "Oh, this guy's staring at me." It's like, dude, you're setting up a camera, and sort of like, I would be looking too, because it's like, dude, I ain't trying to be on your video, even if it's background. But you saw some of them put on blast where it's like, that guy, that person hasn't even looked your way. And it's kind of like that, where it's sort of like, where can I generate controversy?
Yeah.
And it
And
worked.
is
It
Mexico the
worked.
only national team with sponsors?
Well, no, but see, it worked because it came through the U.S. and Mexico plays games in the U.S. That's why it kind of worked. I guess some of the sponsors here panicked because you didn't hear shit about it in Mex. You know, you didn't hear Bimbo saying, "Hey, dude, those sandwich commercials are gonna disappear if you don't, you know, you don't
What
issue a statement." Um,
Pinche
so
ass
it was.
sandwich.
You remember those with Chicharito?
Yeah.
To,
Bro, I can't wait to see Nacho Cuadro with a sandwich. Like I'm dying and I'm waiting for that.
that's that was a big push because like Mexicans don't really eat sandwiches; they eat tacos and stuff like that. So you have to get them to buy mayonnaise and other stuff that it's
Haz
not
torta mejor.
not it's yeah.
I mean,
It's
honestly,
not
I
a
don't
comp.
care either one cares, like federation. I think they're just doing it so they can say like they tried. Because even the rule that U.S. Soccer passed is saying you'd be banned like from friendlies, so you wouldn't even be banned like from actual FIFA, Concacaf events.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, you gotta remember all these people, they're corporate leaders.
Yeah.
Is like look at like companies like Mercedes Benz and their social media on this part of the world. During Pride Month, they have like their Pride logo, but look up their social media sites like in the Middle East. Nope, the regular logo. They're just catering to their
Yeah,
audience.
it's
So all these big wigs
yes.
is like, hey, obviously our audience is against this kind of talk. Let's just say we're against it too. But are they gonna hit themselves in their own pockets? No, no way.
Yeah. I,
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like you said, if in the social media, if you saw in those other countries, they wouldn't do the same thing. They weren't changing their um their logos or anything.
It was clickbait that was generated, and now here we fucking are. Right? And the big thing is, like we all said, we need to pull the Uno card and switch it. It's like, hey, why are you
But it
telling me
worked.
that my culture is
mhm.
wrong? Like, who are you to be the dictator
Yeah.
of culture? It's kind of like we've talked about it before in previous casts when Cavani said negrito. And
Yeah.
he got in mad trouble
With
when
the
South
Premier.
Americans are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like that's just a regular term. Like it's those type of things of like, why are you the gatekeeper of culture and telling me that my culture is wrong?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those very very difficult subjects. But because we're playing in the U.S., they decide what rules we want to. But you're not gonna really hurt us, and then that's what happens. Now I do want to point this out since we were talking about Osvaldo just a second ago. Los Huevos de Osvaldo in 2011, because I had to pull it up because, like you said, sometimes my brain writes fan fiction.
I feel
In
I do too.
in 2011, there was a shootout outside of Estadio Corona,
Hmm.
and they were playing. It was televised on live TV because I remember watching this as a kid. It was Monarcas versus Santos, and outside there was a shootout and there was
Wow.
RPGs that were used, and it was like it was early
So,
2011
so,
So,
Mexico.
so Call
Like
of
anyways,
it
I
was
Duty.
started
wild.
blasting.
So Osvaldo over here is
It's
like
like Call of Duty.
and there's video of people laying in the streets. It was televised on TV. Pero
Yeah.
los huevos para que se fue allá, and then afterwards he like apologized to the people and everything, and yes, there was just gunshots, and we're sorry.
Wait,
So
he
to take
left.
on
He left
that,
the stadium.
no, no, he was in the stadium. No, no, like no way. Pidió disculpas like an ambassador for the city. He was like,
Oh,
"We're
that there
sorry
was a.
that this
Okay.
happened. You guys came to visit us, and this happened outside
Oh,
of
all
our
right.
home.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like we do apologize for this."
Yeah.
So
Said
it was a
RPGs,
very
man.
powerful moment for real, dude. It was like,
Okay.
yo, come on, man. I'm from Reynosa. Like that shit was happening. And Soriana had this back blown out because of it. Like shit was hot.
It's like, did you guys see that movie? Don't drink your juice in the hood.
Which one?
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
the Don't drink your juice in the hood.
Oh
It's like a comedy movie making fun of the gang movies.
no.
It's with the Wayans
Don't
brothers
be a
and one of
menace.
them. Yeah, Don't Be a Menace also. And there's a couple gang movies, but
Oh yeah.
there's a scene where he's coming out of like a 7-Eleven, and this is like Boys in the Hood. He's making fun of the Boys in the Hood scene where a car pulls up and they flash a gun, and
You pull out the bazooka.
yeah,
Yep.
these guys keep one upping each other till this guy opens up his. He had like a what is it, like a mail
A
truck or
nuke.
something, and yeah, this is what it reminded me of. This guy said RPGs. I'm like, what? That's goddamn, dude.
Yo, bro, what? You guys didn't read Narco Blog?
No, man, I just can't. Some of
Whoa,
that stuff
kids,
is brutal, dude. I
y'all missing out on the new tactics that the kids are using. And yes, it is brutal.
no, it went hella crazy, man. They're like Santa Muerte and all that stuff. It's next level, dude.
You know
Because
what, man? I think we should get back to football because I don't think
Yeah.
this is the right pod for that one because it's got to.
well, just really quick, because I remember there was a magazine. I know. You're gonna know the name. I keep forgetting the name. I think it was from Mexico City, and this was like these photographers. Every time there was like an accident or a crime, they would go and take pictures. And that's what this. It was like a
Oh.
newspaper, and that's all it was, dude. It was
It
like
was
gore.
on Vice, I think.
There was
Yeah.
some bias about the guys that did it, right?
I
The
I
guys
remember
that would take the pictures. But
they would
dude, I will go.
yeah. They would
My
take
my
like
local one
literally
of
like their last breath. They would be like there taking photos of like people dying and shit. Yeah.
yeah, one of the. So I used to go to this like liquor store way back when, because they had like Mexican magazines, and I would go get the Esto, and they would sell the Esto. It would be like sometimes like a day old because they brought it from TJ, or it would be like you could go get it like around midday. But they had it right there, dude. They had that one newspaper. I forget the name, dude. Alarma or something like that. I can't remember, man. But it was like it's just gruesome shit, dude. So yeah,
Yeah.
I imagine Narco Blog is something like that.
Sorry guys, I gotta bring it back to football real quick. But for those that are unaware, there was a draw for the Gold Cup that's going to be happening in June and July. And Mexico is in a group with Honduras, Haiti, and Qatar. So that is their schedule for those official matches. They're actually going to kick off things in Houston at the NRG Stadium. Then they'll make their way to Glendale against Haiti. And then they finish off in San Jose in my stomping grounds at Levi Stadium against Qatar. Which, by the way, what the fuck is Qatar still doing? Can someone let them know that the World Cup's over and they can go back to obscurity? Like why are we still inviting him to this shit, bro?
Like Barney came back into most.
It's like, did we get rid of you already, bro? It's done.
Well, this is like Mexico's protection right there, because they can't, you know, because in Mexico are homophobes. Qatar are even bigger one. And they're in the same group, dude. That's like the group of hate.
It's a group of death, supposedly, right?
No, it's group of hate because they're the
Yeah.
hateful one.
So just wanted to throw that out there. Obviously,
Hey, wasn't that guy gonna play with the one dude that was going viral because he put on like he plays in PSG and all his money
no idea.
he would give to his mom. He got divorced and they didn't have
Hakimi.
money.
That guy
Hakimi.
plays
Yeah,
for
he's
Morocco.
Morocco, dude. Around
Yeah.
their flags kind of look the same.
Wrong continent.
Same thing.
I was going up for the flag.
Yeah.
The flag. I saw the. Although I might Dude, now I gotta look it up, dude. I don't see how
Ashraf
my
Hakimi.
eyes, my eyes can't, my eyes can't be that bad, dude.
Your mind's playing
Where's
tricks
my
on you.
memory now?
So really quickly, so obviously like that, the event it's months away. So we'll talk about Gold Cup later in future episodes. But I do want to throw out some venues out there for people that are considering buying tickets. So the
Not even close.
the quarterfinals will be taking place in Arlington, Texas, and in Cincinnati. Semifinals will be at San Diego and Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And then the final will be in SoFi over there in your stopping grounds, Joel, in Southern California. So for all those simps out there
I
that
know.
continue to support the Mexican national team, those are some of the cities that will be taking place for the Gold Cup. And before that, the Nations League, obviously Mexico qualified to the semis against United States. That all will be taking place in Las Vegas at the Allegiant Stadium, and that's on June 15th. So there are some dates for people looking to do something in the summer, support their national team, and yeah,
No thanks.
that's what you say
Literally
now.
just call them simps. I don't think they want to buy now.
Hey, but did you guys notice all those locations you just mentioned, Jaime? Now, one of those cities is none of those games are going to be played in MLS stadiums.
I think the Cincinnati TKL is the only one.
They might as well not even exist, man. I mean,
Hey, St. Louis is getting the game.
Yeah, they will be getting games, but this is for the knockout stages.
Oh yeah, they're all little tiny stadiums for knockout stage.
I mean, the AT&T is Dallas, bro. That's a massive stadium. Yeah, and then the semis are pretty big too. Like Las Vegas, that's a fat stadium. San
No, I mean
Diego's
like the MLS stadiums are tiny for them to be hosting like knockout games.
Oh yeah. That's why I was surprised the Cincinnati stadium's hosting, because I don't think that's a pretty. Yeah, they only have like 25,000 capacity. Yeah.
you see it, mame about the MLS infrastructure and all the games, all the big games, important games are being played in NFL stadiums.
Yep.
Okay, bare capacity.
I mean,
So-
in the World Cup, they have those restrictions, right? So knockout stages and beyond, there's a minimum amount that they have to sell. I think like for like round of 16, it's 40, and then it goes up from there, 60, 80, 100 for the final. So, similar
Yeah.
for the Gold Cup.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole thing about it. You could have a big stadium, but that just means the maintenance costs more. So it's costing you a lot of money, and so it's like UC Chivas, for example, and they will go seasons without selling out or have capacity, and so they're losing like money there. It's like so it's in the kind of recent you saw like even Azteca, what were
Reduce.
they at one point? Like at 120, 110, 120,
Mm-hmm.
and they're down to about what 80K.
80. Yeah.
And that's part of it. So that was the whole thing with MLS where they were smart about like just having the stadiums at like around 2025, and it's like it's just more profitable for them. You kind of see it too with some of the newer stadiums in like Liga MX, right? Some of
Mhm.
the for the other teams, not like a Tigres or Monterrey.
Yeah,
Like
like
I know
Tijuana,
Tigres has what they,
Torreon.
yeah, Tijuana.
El
Yes,
Kraken.
of course, and they
Yeah,
Kraken,
exactly.
which looks really nice. So that's kind of what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm all for is like soccer specific stadiums. San Jose used to play in a college stadium, like a very small. It wasn't even regulation size. Like they were cheating
It's,
in the early 2000s. They were playing in a field that was smaller than the requirements.
must have been fast games, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Really fast games.
and
No, I remember when Galaxy started in '96 at the Coliseum, not the Coliseum, at the Rose Bowl.
that's tough.
It was a huge stadium. It's 90K, and Even if they had 20K, it looked empty.
Yeah.
It looked so empty. And just really quick, I found this kind of funny. So Konami, right? Konami had the soccer game. They would do Pro Evolution,
Yep.
and they these fuckers did an MLS soccer game, and they did the stadiums were like empty.
They made it super
I
accurate.
kid, I, dude, I kid you not, man. Yeah, man,
That's
Very
hilarious.
whoever
accurate.
played it, and the stands would be empty from one side. Oh, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Well,
Well, here's my thing about the Gold Cup is why aren't we using it as a dry run to test all of our World Cup stadiums? That's what we should really be doing.
I think
Because
that's where
why are we
the
saying it
Copa
to?
America comes into play, no?
they'll have.
I
I think
think so, but
they'll
why
get a
not fine
chance.
tuning it?
Well,
Right, we
there's
have
gonna
them.
be
Because
there's
we
gonna be
got.
a second Gold Cup.
Have you seen the opposition? Who's gonna sell out IT or Qatar, bro? No one. No one wants to see
Yeah,
that match.
yeah. It's no one's going
And I
there.
think
Not even with the free tickets.
they're double dipping, right? So a lot of these are gonna be double headers. There's no way. There's no way anybody would actually go out to see like a Qatar versus IT unless there's a Honduras
No.
Mexico game attached to it on the same day
Yes.
in the same stadium. So that's how you do it, bro. Because that shit would be embarrassing, bro. I don't even think people from do we have Qatari people here in the United States? I don't even know, bro.
There's probably a
A
few.
few, a few. In my city, there's quite a few.
And do they even care about soccer? Because they're filthy rich. Why would they care about sports?
That's literally it.
Yeah. I can't go an hour into the podcast without bringing up some of these results in Liga MX. We had we'll start with the Clásico Joven with Cruz Azul America. What happened there, Abdias? What's going on with
Well, Pinche America has a man from within. Fucking Estrada did his thing again. Los hombres de pantalones largos came in once again. It's like, mijo, métele un pinche mordiscón right before the end of the first half. And that's what happened. Like, because the first half was killer. Rotondi had a couple good shots. It was going. It had, tenía un poquito de buen sazón. And then just after that red, man, that's it. It was gone. Tuca tried and they tried, but like he said, with a team that is constantly pressing, how can you contain without a man down, right? And that's all there is to say. Now, what I will say is that this is I believe the third time this motherfucker does that. He did it in the season opener, and neta, like fue lo que encarriló mal al Potro, and I said it then. I was like, this motherfucker cost us the game. It's gonna cost El Potro the job, and it started going in bad direction because we don't have a central delantero still. Let's remember that we never plugged that hole, so that always stayed there. Ahora con este güey que no está, Rotondi's kind of in shape, but he's not really a 10. So we'll see what it is that happens, and that's it. That's my take, man. Like we had a mole from within.
Sounds like excuses.
Sounds like Cruz Azul, my friend.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what really happened.
A ver.
You see, before the game, Tuca said something very interesting. He said, "América no es un monstruo de siete cabezas." But he was mistaken. What he should have said is that América es un monstruo de siete pitos. Because America, because let's not forget that this game they were tied up before that red card, and I'll admit it was back and forth before that. But the writing was on the wall. I mean, how do you park the bus after scoring one goal in the 20th minute? They flinched, and you can't flinch against America. You can ask Chivas, you can ask Monterrey, and you can ask all the other teams in Mexico. They can score 3 or 4 goals on any team. Even Pachuca. Pachuca got lucky that day. Oh, and Malagon, he's like the reincarnation of of Adolfo Rios and Moises Munoz in one.
Oh my god.
He's
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 fat.
what the doctor ordered, man. And before that, Televisa bum, because he was only playing because his wife was like porking a
Who?
Televisa
Jimenez?
executive. Yeah, that's the only reason he was playing. His wife works as an actress for Televisa. That's the only reason.
Ah,
But how do you
And
know she was doing
favors.
extracurricular activities?
it, if you watch this, see, because I've seen this guy play since he was in Chiapas. I've seen him play. I even seen him play when he was in Indios. That's how far back I've seen this guy
Jesus
play.
Christ! And
Damn.
this
He
guy barely got his debut. Like he's like in his 30s, right?
exactly. and you see the media is very manipulative because they were saying, oh, Jimenez, he deserves this shot because he rode the bench for like 90 years, so it's his turn. And then you take a look at Malagon. He said that Argentine guy Sosa at Monarcas that last season, Morelia was there. So he has like he sat a guy already at a young age, and he pushed through, and he was a starter at Necaxa. I would rather take someone with actual starting experience, even though I understand it's a smaller team, than a guy that rode the bench for like an eternity.
Damn.
And if that if that dum dum Tano would have had any sense, he would have started Malagon since the first game because that guy cost us like 12 points, and America would be super leader again, and no one talks about that.
Man, you got some good fan fiction going on right now.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like everyone knows that the thing about America is that they're always gonna attack. They're not gonna defend. They're just an attacking team. So what? You're complaining about El Tucabus doing what it does? Yeah, he slowed it down and he knew that the thing was the counterattack. Pero ¿qué pasa cuando no tienes a tu hombre de enfrente? You have no counter. You have nothing else. So what are you just doing? Te están metiendo pinches vergazos y vergazos y vergazos. So yes, that's why you got him. Now, the one thing that I keep singing in my mind recently is Molotov's Queremos ver golizas. If you guys haven't seen it, please YouTube that. It is just a beautiful moment of Mexican television that was never aired, but it
Oh.
found its way onto YouTube. It is all of Televisa Deportes with Molotov singing the song about how they want to see golizas.
Huh.
So the song is Queremos ver golizas. So in classic Molotov style, they kind of
Albur.
speed it up and it's like, exactly.
And there's
Queremos ver
albur.
golizas. Te queremos ver golear.
Well, that's what the Nejas did to Cruz Azul.
You know what? You know what,
Robin,
Canto?
I
You know
met
what, Canto? I give it to you, okay? Every now and then. You get it. Pero no hay
American
pedo.
American Pie, Cendejas, se los folló. Those 2 goals were deadly, man.
Well, you guys have consistently been one of the top teams in Liga MX, but when it comes to prime time, playoff time, what's going on? You guys have a choke at the end.
They happen, yeah.
You can blame that on Ochoa.
Oh,
That guy
Oh,
has,
he's not
Ochoa.
there.
that, that guy has no heart, no determined. Like
Damn.
he was the weak link last year when Toluca scored that goal on him. He
Uh-huh.
had his eyes shut. He was scared that his mascara was gonna bleed down his face.
I see. What a convenient excuse. And now he's over there killing it in Italy. Good for him.
Killing it.
I
Hey,
mean,
but I got a question for you for the
let's hear it.
for the Chi Hermanos.
Yeah.
Because you know how you guys have a little altar in your closets and has a picture of Almeida there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every night you guys got to pray to it. But see, you see the
What a vivid
there's a-
imagination you have. I love it, dude.
Well, that when the Chi hermanos talk about him, that's what I get out of it. I mean, I'm like,
I
wow. I
know.
mean,
I agree with you,
he
dude.
he must walk on
They've turned
water
on
and
me for that.
he must
Yes.
split the water in two. I mean, no, but they were talking about it on Football Picante. This Serbian guy, you guys' coach,
Mhm.
he has more points than Almeida did when they won that chip, even though they had the help by Chivander. No, but because there's a lot of pundits and like like football analysts
Yeah.
on the Mexican media. They're talking a lot about how this team, like keep in mind, they never say it's a good. They play like it's an exciting style. Everyone just say it works, right?
Mhm.
Like, and from my point of view, I haven't found a single game these guys have played all year that I've said, "Oh wow, that's exciting. That's good football." It's all been very defensive,
Mhm.
very hard to watch, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell are these guys talking about? But if you guys had to choose between which team played better, this one, because it has more points than the championship team. Keep that in mind, or the actual championship team.
That's a good question. I'm glad you're bringing it up because I think it's a little bit disrespectful to be making comparisons to someone that hasn't won a fucking thing yet. So,
Yeah.
it's one of those things like slow your roll. You know what I mean? It's like last night, everyone's comparing the Sacramento Kings to like the 2014 Warriors. I'm like, bro, these guys haven't won a fucking thing. You got to stop with the comparisons. Once they win 4 titles, then we can talk. And it's the same thing with Mati. Everyone likes to bring him up and use him as a sort of a measuring stick of, oh, is he better than Mati? And there are things that I do like about Bao, but let's slow our roll here. They are in a great form. They're in fourth. I don't know how. I think it's more about the rest of the league being really bad more than Chivas being that superior than
But
the other
also
teams.
consistency, Jaime, because Chivas and we've done the math with the points. Even though they would finish eighth, ninth, they weren't that many. They were like 6 points from like fourth. That's 2 games. That's just a 2 game difference. And if you also see going down to the last three, four, maybe even five tournaments, they were among the best defense. And I know the people hated that about Buse, but the team defensively was very good. It was top three, I believe, um, consistently. What they've lacked, of course, is like more offense. You know, better offensive players, and that's one thing right now that it's hard to criticize Pau when he's missing Macias and Vega hasn't even been at 100, so
Mhm.
you're missing like your two best strikers, and that's just it's hard to can't even blame him for going the way he has.
I don't know how the fuck we beat Leon without a striker, dude. It's still one of those things. It's like a magic trick. Like, really? We did? And Vega, I got to give him his flowers. He had two incredible snipers. And it just like I wonder what would this team look like with a legitimate striker, not the trash bags that we brought in. And
When Macias at his best.
so that's why I'm like I'm optimistic about the future because we're not even in our final form yet, and he's been able to create like something out of straight up garbage, right?
Well, yeah, but you
So,
know what? We garbage. Come on, I know this.
dude, our team's
I do
trash.
think
Like,
that
let's be honest, bro. We
no,
have
it's not, man.
Alexis
Come on.
Vega, and that's our main guy, right? Like, we don't really
No, this.
have like our team like if we're looking at like hitters or players that play for the national team, Alexis Vega is the only one that's like a starter, like a guaranteed starter. Everybody else like they're role players, right? So we
What
don't.
about Pocho?
Yeah, Pocho is,
Yeah,
but he's not being looked by the national team right now.
I wouldn't
but
say it's
he's
trash. I would say it's like it has its potential, but you don't want potential. You want like somebody that's good now, because the potential might
yeah,
never come. So you might as well get some a
yeah.
team like America, Monterrey that have like solid players on their roster right now that can almost give you hopes of fighting for a championship. And with Chivas is like there's the potential, but it's not a built up team right now, and nobody wants to live off potential.
Yeah. all
As
I'm
far as striker, though,
yeah
one last thing.
yeah
Just put in Jota Jota in there, even if he has one leg. Because in the last 2 years, he has more goals than Lainez and Raul Jimenez. So
yeah.
he's doing something right.
That's not saying much.
All I'm gonna say is I'm here for the ride. That's all. All about Bao is like I'm here for the ride. We're in a top four position now. We'll see with the last two, like how we finish the regular season. If we secure like top four finish, I would be impressed. And then as far as like expectations, like the expectations is I wouldn't say expect silverware this season, but if we can finish like at least in semis, I would consider it a successful season. And hopefully, with Hierro's influence, we can get some legitimate like signings over the summer. And I'm gonna, sound like a being a dead horse here, but like we need to bring in a player like Chicharo. I know he's like
Yeah.
at Galaxy right now, but if he could come to Chivas, bro, and finish his career here and win some silverware, it would be a beautiful thing.
No, you're right, and that's kind of what they've been lacking. They haven't been able to bring in players. Just recently was Pocho, and that's just him. If they were to bring like two more of that level, then I would have them as contenders. Um, but that's, yeah, easier said than done right now. Who knows who they could bring? Just because some options have been very few. I know there was talk of having Chichar on loan, so I don't know if that's still on the table, but they do need to,
But wouldn't
you
this
know.
be like the first time since they brought back Repechaje that Chivas actually qualified in the top four?
Probably.
Oh yeah, it's been in a long time. That it's been a while.
So you guys' best year couldn't couldn't outdo America's worst year, man.
It's work America in the.
Hey man, we won our 2006 championship as the eighth seed. We weren't even supposed to be in Liga.
Q has been playing though with like one hand tied behind her back. So that's kind of been going on with the club. You could say part of it it's their fault because of their Mexican only policy, but it's kind of what you're seeing with the national team where you know there's lack of players, there's lack of options, and that's been hurting Chivas for years ever since there was the whole they lifted the whole thing on the cap on foreigners on how many could play per team, and that's you started seeing pretty much every team bringing in just 10 up to 10 foreigners, and so that's pretty much pushed all these Mexican players out of the way, and now it's like you know hard for them to pick up players. So I'm hopeful for that change for second division where it's gonna be. I think they're talking about just three foreigners. I think a limit, but that's gonna be an influx of a lot of players, and that's gonna. I do feel Chivas is gonna benefit from that. There'll be all these young players, or even like mid-tier players, but that's kind of what you mean ultimately, just consistently having playing time.
So you guys have that little excuse in your pocket.
Uh-huh.
Whenever
No,
we
it's not an
when
excuse. It's
whenever
it's a
we win,
reality, man.
whenever Chivas wins, it's because we got Mexicans. But whenever you lose, it's because we got Mexicans. You just changed the tone of it.
No, I'm saying because they're Mexican players because there's less Mexican players. So if you used to have, how many, dude, I lost the numbers because I think it used to be shit, dude. What was it like 100? Okay, I'm horrible in math, but you could do the numbers of like how many players per team, and before they only had, I think it was like 60 foreigners in the league at one point, and then they doubled to about 120. So that's 60 less players for Chivas to choose from, right? So before there was like 60 across the board, and of course teams can't keep all those players. So yeah, Chivas would have options of like, I could take this guy or that guy, and there'll be a few experienced players there. And now there's 60 less. So it's you know what, that's obviously going to hurt them. And of course, I mentioned they want to stay as just Mexican club, so in part is kind of their fault as well.
Ormeño.
Well, I mean, I still
But
disagree
Romano's
with
born in
that.
Met, so
I mean, I do agree the pool sucks. The national team pool sucks, but
yeah, well, that's
I'm
the
still gonna
league pool.
stick to my guns that if you had an owner with money, it doesn't matter. Because like if Chivas had the
Oh
same
yeah,
backing
that's
that Tigres or Monterrey did, you
oh
could play
yeah,
with all
yeah, that's true.
Mexicans and you would still have quality Mexicans. You wouldn't hear the Chivas shouldn't play with Mexicans excuse because there'd be
Yeah,
money
no,
there to bring in talent.
that's a lot of money though because it's
No, that's what I'm
that's not
saying. But I don't think it's
yeah
a Mexican thing. It's just a lack of money. And at the same time, you're gonna call yourselves one of the biggest teams in the country, the most popular teams in the country, but not be able to back it up with money. Then you might probably should move to the side and let someone else that can walk the walk and do the talk as well.
no, it's just the money like you said, and it will cost a lot of money because you're basically now talking about national team players. So now you're competing with you will be competing against Tigres and is it FEMSA or yeah, I'm thinking FAMSA. No, it's FEMSA. Um, you, and those are massive, you know, um, multinational corporations. We've talked about it before. Both number two in the world. Yeah, you could guys could look wiki this up. Not number two in Mexico, number two in the whole world.
No, I
Wow.
understand, but
And
honestly, you wouldn't be
yeah, but how do you
competing
come?
with them because if you have
Yes,
like
you are.
similar. No, my point is, if you had similar money, if you had similar money, you were
But
offering player like
just
literally
slim.
similar money, and they had to choose between going to like a team like Monterrey or going to Chivas with its history and like a city like Guadalajara and everything that comes with it. They choose Chivas. If money was literally similar as far as wages and everything, I still think Chivas would be the predominant choice over teams like Monterrey and Tigres.
Yeah, but I mean, money that you now you're looking at who do you have left that could maybe like Slim and see and these two companies they don't even put that much money what they could afford if they were to say we're just gonna open up the wallet to forget it, dude. It would be a two-team race. They would literally be Barca Real Madrid, or they're just them winning all the time. Like no one will be able to compete with them because they have that money.
Yeah, but I mean they're
They
also
literally have
smart. I
that type of
mean
money.
Tigres and Monterrey are the two teams with the most
They're,
sponsors. You
they're
don't see
being
it on their
nice, dude.
jerseys, but they are. They have like double the sponsors of the other teams in La Liga. So they've been able to, I guess, pull their network the right way.
No, they have, but I mean, just seeing how much money they have, they've sort of helped. Dude, that's not even their final form. They they could really, they could bring, they could easily bring like Tiras Braquinhac. They could easily bring three more. It wouldn't even affect them, dude.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is Rayados acts more like a Grande than Chivas?
No, they have money wise, yes, money wise
Yeah, but
they
doesn't make
are.
them grande. That's why I still say that if money was similar, there
Well,
wouldn't
they
be no
will eventually.
competition.
They
Because it'd be like
eventually.
PSG or like a team like Manchester United or like Real Madrid. Like no one
But if
grows
they
up wanting to play for PSG.
if those two teams stay on track, and I think those companies renewed for like 30 years or something with both clubs, in the next 10 years, you will see them with, you know, way more titles up there. Like we like to joke in the memes and they're funny, but I guarantee you in the next 10 years it's like it's not going to be funny anymore.
Oh,
We'll
and
see. We'll
nah,
cross
man.
that bridge when we get there.
We'll see.
Next
I
10 years is
think
gonna be 20 more champions. So I wouldn't be surprised if of 20 more Tigres and
We've
Monterrey
seen some
gets it.
crazy shit. I mean,
look,
Atlas won
no,
back to
look.
back titles. Who would have guessed that, right?
Well, I mean, just go back and look how many times Tigres and Monterrey have been in finals and how many times they've been winning them. And it's a lot, dude. And it's pretty recent. So I'm saying if they stay their form the way they've been, um, or even if they're corporativas or whatever, decide, all right, we're going to open the pockets, the purse a bit more, dude, they arrasan, dude. They'll just take off, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. We talk about it a lot. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I like to live in the now. And in the now, there were some pretty big
Who's
upsets.
first place right now? Who's
Mon-
first place right now?
Monterrey,
Think.
who just
See?
lost to Santos.
And America porked them.
It's them RPGs, dude. Nobody wants to.
So
You should have seen the face on your guy Vuse, Joel. That guy was in shock
That's
when America
that's my boy.
when
The rest
when they
hate
pulled
him.
that comeback. He didn't know what hit him.
He, yeah, they call him.
I can
forgot what
confidently
they-
tell you guys right now, Monterrey is not winning a title this season.
Smoke and mirrors.
Exactly.
Oh,
They kind of remind me of America last season, where they had great, regular season, but come playoff time, they caved, they choked. So I
well,
can,
that's
I can,
Buse's glory years were with the Rayados, man.
yeah.
I would say he knows how to play those liguillas.
But at the end of the day, it's Vucetic, and that dude is a dusty old fart. And
He-
I don't see. He's great on paper, but hey, man, when's the last time we won some silverware? It's been like 10 years, bro. The future is now,
he
old
gave,
man. Yeah, I am also gonna say America's not winning shit either because they've been choking.
We'll see.
I think they're gonna qualify to the Champions League, right? I was seeing something about that.
Probably, I don't know. I will say Toluca, with Nacho Ambriz with a chip on his shoulder, I think they could be I wouldn't call them a dark horse because they're in third place, but they're definitely a team to keep your eye on.
They just ate 3 goals, man, by a lame Pumas team.
Hey man, don't make fun of Mohamed Salah, aka Chino Huerta.
Hey, I seen that play live when he did the tunnel. I was like, they switched the Salah and him, man.
Let him
That was
cook.
crazy. That was a good play.
He's had 2 incredible back-to-back like games with Pumas with some really good goals. I saw glimpses of that when he was at Chivas, but let's be honest, he wasn't making that chart. It was just too deep on the roster. And he had a good outing at Mazatlan, so I wish him the best for him. And we'll see how he does there. I know Pumas are not in a good spot, but they do have Turco Mohamed now, and they've won the last 2 games. They might squeeze into repechaje.
And his son too.
Oh, his son's on the team?
Yeah, didn't Al Pastor mention it a couple weeks back? But he's on
he's
the.
a assistant coach.
I thought his son was still playing.
No, he's retired. He's like an assistant coach now.
Isn't he hella young though?
Yeah, he's like 23, 25.
Oh wow, interesting.
Damn, he
He's
was
like,
this is
He's like Chavez Jr. He's like, I don't feel like it.
He's
did,
like Ancelotti's son.
did he have like? Cause I remember Turco used to be up there in weight. Is he
No, he
similar?
just sucked his first game with
He just
Monterrey.
sucked.
He got
Turco
a
could
red
pull it
card,
off though.
and then he
Turco
didn't play again. And then he went and played for like Cancun and Liga de Expansión. Didn't do great. He
Mm,
just,
Damn.
he went pro because his
Because-
dad opened some doors for him, but he couldn't sustain it.
yeah.
But I
Yeah, it
wouldn't sleep
doesn't
on
always-
Pumas, man, because Turco can make something out of nothing. And I've been
Yep.
saying that like for the last 2 tournaments, that Pumas team, they have a roster like in front with those 3
Dineno.
Argentinos, Dineno, De Preto, whatever the dude's name is,
Yeah.
Salvio or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 guys can ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Yep. You know who can't ball? Mazatlan. What an embarrassment. They should be in the second division. I'm sorry I didn't get to Tom's comment earlier, but he's talking about the possibility of Atlante returning to first division, and wouldn't that be lovely?
That's right.
They deserve it.
right.
If anyone should be in first division right now, is Atlante. They're doing everything
they-
right.
They got their paperwork in order now.
Yeah, but on the field too, they're doing everything right. They're like a dominant team. Like they're playing like if there was a promotion.
Who can be removed right now from? don't think
Mazatlán,
Mazat-
Querétaro, Juárez.
Yeah.
It will probably be between the more newer ones like Mazatlan and Juarez. So
Mas-
who knows?
Mazatlan can
Hey
kindly
man,
like fuck off, dude.
y'all stop ganging up on Mazatlan, okay? We all need La Gorrita at the party at the end of the night. We need a her thing that every now and then she puts your finger in your butt and goes like, "Whoa, qué pedo." Porque eso
Well,
fue
you
lo que
saw
le
the
hicieron a Tigres.
hey, 'cause when the
Mazatlan put their
owners talking smack,
Mazatlan put their finger in Cruz Azul's butt.
And Tigres, let's not
damn,
forget that one too.
and Tigre. Ooh.
That cost
Por eso es que
Chimaris's
de vez
job.
en cuando La Gorrita viene con eso.
Tigres has had a bad year, man.
Well, Cruz Azul with Duca, they've only lost to small teams: Querétaro, Mazatlan, and America.
Have you guys noticed how many teams están tendiendo la cama? The players?
Yeah.
Pumas, Cruz Azul, Tigres. And the guy that's been consistent is that Querétaro guy. He's been there for like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you can tell that team's not trying to do anything like their actual ownership group. You could tell there's no relegation. They could care less if they lose 30, 40 games. They were supposed to open the stadium like after the whole 1 year ban, and they weren't even ready for that. Like they actually like delayed the opening like by a week.
Oh.
Well,
So-
Querétaro was supposed to be sold, remember?
Yeah, so they don't care. They don't care about that team. That team, honestly.
Oh yeah, they had like a year to sell, right? Because of what happened.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
It's like
what
Chelsea.
happened was it went back to the original
Wow.
owners, aka Caliente, and Caliente is still just sitting on it. They haven't done anything. So yeah, no one gives a shit about them. If anything, take them away and bring me back Chapas. Like, give me that.
I would like to see Leones Negros return and Atlante. If we had to go to 20 teams, I like those two teams.
I thought you were gonna say that Tapatio team.
Nah, they can't.
Double the Chivas, double the trouble.
I don't think
or what?
they're allowed to get
No,
promoted.
they can't. Yeah, they can't.
Hey man, but Tapatio's killing it. I've been watching their games, and they actually know how to ball compared to Chivas. Like their touches be on point. I'm talking about like 1, 2, 3, 4, shaking 5, 6 guys go lazos.
Is Cadena their coach again?
I'm not sure, but I say send Chivas down to Expansión and bring up Tapatio because these kids can ball like Organista, Campillo. Man, like literally, they be like nutmegging guys, doing roundabouts, everything around everybody. They're scoring like
Who-
5 goals in 1/2.
Nice. That's good.
MLS
Interesting.
style.
Interesting. You brought UDG because I think for like at least one season or two, I think there was 4 teams from Jalisco. If memory serves me, Atlas, Chivas, Tecos, and UDG. Their shirt always reminds me of hot dog on a stick.
Those same colors, bro. Same
Stripes.
uniform.
They just have the lion. in
Dude,
the
I went
center.
to Vegas and there was a hot dog on a stick. I'm like, no way. And I went there and they're like, cash only. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. But
Cash only.
Why'd you say it like that, Jaime?
No lemonade for you.
yeah, man.
See what?
You said it with a very urban accent.
yeah. Oh man. We have 2 matches left in the regular season. Which one's looking good? I like this America Pumas matchup. Why not?
America hasn't lost a Clásico yet.
Clásico Capitalino.
Hey, Turco didn't leave on good terms with America, so I'm sure he wants to prove a point as well.
And Chivas play Cruz Azul, so Abdias, sorry man, but we're gonna have to push your shit in, dude.
I think the most recent results have been in Cruz Azul favor.
And you know those guys are gonna get some good players next year. Tuca didn't go there for just to go.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have his team.
That's the thing, and that's something that okay, since we're bringing this up, yeah, Tuca didn't come here to just fuck around, okay? If you notice where, I don't know what the fuck the guy's name is, El líder de la Corporativa Cruz Azul, when he speaks to the press and he's talking about the future of Cruz Azul and the planning, the first name that he mentions is Tuca when he's talking about the future of the team. He doesn't even talk about El Conejo. Like El Conejo is the second thought. Tuca is running that show. So you know what? Yes, yes, ready, hard, hard. We might win. Who? I don't give a fuck about this season.
Okay.
Next season, once we bring people in and we're really ready to go, like, look, Tuca has done shit with like has done great with the shit sandwich that he has. All right.
Damn.
I really
All
want
right
to see
here.
him and what he can do once he rebuilds and gets what he wants in
I'm
his
a
team.
I'm gonna give what's Diaz right now some hope. The last five head-to-head record was what was it here? Cruz Azul on October 22nd, 2-1 over Chivas. And then Chivas beat them 1-0. There was a 1-1 draw. Then Cruz Azul won 1-0. And then Cruz Azul another 2-0 win.
Yeah, no, de que los
So
tenemos de hijo, los
it's a,
tenemos de hijo, ¿verdad? Like, eso no es de pedo. El
but
pedo es
this
de
is now
formas y de momentos.
this
Yeah.
is now the Pauneta, so it's a different
Exactly.
coach. But it looks like it's been pretty close. 2-1, 1-0, 1-1. So it could be a pretty close game. And I think Chivas right now, being what they're at, I think they'll be happy with the draw. I'll see Cruz Azul is the team that's going to be with the more pressure to get a win or get the points.
We're at home and we're in fourth place. So I think right now,
Puta madre, se lo tengo que ver en Televisa. ¿Es eso también?
well, here it's Telemundo, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's right, Telemundo. My bad.
yeah,
Fucking
you
Telemundo.
gotta. We're gonna put you to sleep with Andres Cantor, but
And El Señor de los Cielos.
yeah, yeah, some pretty good matches this weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen with some of these other ones, like Tigres Puebla. Maybe not the most sexy. Mazatlán Monterrey, maybe another upset. Who knows?
Or would you say it's the best matchups in CONCACAF? That's what Hercules Gomez says now. That's another one of their propaganda tools. They say
Herculiano. He says what?
he's like, oh, this was the best game in CONCACAF. Like, come on, man, no one watches MLS. You see the ratings last week. A guy posted them on Twitter. Chivas
And
I
you really,
America
guarantee you he's not
you
watching
really
the
hate
Caribbean League.
MLS, don't you?
Oh man, it's disgusting.
Don't lie. You know you turned on that Vela versus Chicharo
He
matchup.
watches. He
You
hate
mean the
watches it.
Tráfico?
I
El
don't even know what channel that's
Trafico.
on.
He hate. It's on Apple. You hate watch.
Oh, I'm not gonna pay. I'd rather burn my money than pay for that crap. I play for VIX Plus, man.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? Fuck that. I just bought a bunny ear antenna. I was like, chinga su madre, me lo dan gratis over the air.
Yeah, they do.
So that's what I did.
Yeah, Telemundo. You get it over the air.
Telemundo, Televisa, all of them. And then everything else you can get through like Fox Deportes, Paramount Plus,
Televisa,
all of that.
you mean Univision?
Uniputa madre, güey. I keep saying Televisa. I'm like, that
I
plugged
know,
into
like what?
Mexico.
Oh, like what? You're
No,
getting that? You live
you know
in San
what?
Diego by the border.
No, but I do know some people who know some people who got me a jailbroken Fire Stick. So
Oh,
I
I
need
watch
a,
a
I
lot
need
of
one of those.
that
I need
stuff.
one of those for Saturday. Tank versus Garcia. That should be a good fight.
Oof.
Garcia's gonna get knocked out in 6 rounds, man.
Well, maybe he already has some brain damage because he bet his entire purse on winning.
oh,
Yeah,
well.
we shall
Wait,
see.
Garcia did?
Yeah, they did it on Instagram Live.
It's like some real shit or just propaganda?
I don't know. It was on Instagram Live. They both like send me the contract. You know, they were serious about it, so should be good.
They're just selling the fight, man.
Probably.
So I remember that one other moron, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, where his name is. He did something similar and he never paid up the guy.
Oh, uh, I don't know. Like, I'm not a degenerate, but are you allowed to gamble on yourself?
Mm,
Yes. Well,
I
I'm
no
think
one
only
said.
to
watching.
win. I think
No
only
one
to.
actually
I don't think
puts
you
it
could
out
bet
there
on
like that.
yourself to lose. I don't
I
think.
know Pacquiao back in the day when he was in his prime, he said that his team would bet like $50,000 and $100,000 during the fights on him, obviously.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
I
think you
mean,
can bet on yourself, can you? I mean, I feel like that's like
I was
probably
gonna say,
just to
as a
win.
degenerate, that's where the question kind of does come in. I don't think you are because at the NFL got into some issues with that, and certain other sports have had that problem. Even though you're betting on yourself to win, they view it as you rigging it because you have a way to impact the outcome.
yeah.
Now, if your team bets on you, that is possible, but you yourself directly are not allowed to do so. Or,
Mm.
that's just me speaking of upon my degree on bird law.
Yeah, I don't know
Fuck if
boxing,
I
but I
know.
know NFL super strict. NFL
I
had some
think you
guy
could
from
just.
Atlanta like injured out for the season, and he bet on other NFL games,
Oh.
and he bet like $1,000, like nothing crazy,
Hmm.
and he got caught and he got like banned for another year.
Oh, damn.
I like to think you can bet on yourself. I'm going off of the Over the Top movie. Remember, Sylvester Stallone, the arm wrestling.
Well, the
You
arm
guys
wrestle
haven't seen it? He sells his truck to bet on himself.
Uh,
with his son screaming by his ear, man.
You guys, I think we're the only ones that've seen that movie.
I know in
You guys are missing out. You guys are missing out.
maybe not in the movie, but in the book Million Dollar Baby, the cut man talks about how he was getting fucked over by like the whatever the fighter, and he wasn't gonna pay him. So before the fight, he bet against him, and he knew he was gonna get cut. So he like did something to like the formula where like it looks like it will stop the bleeding, but it actually didn't. And
Oh,
yeah, he ended up losing the fight because of a stoppage. But he made his money because he obviously bet against the guy. So I don't know. In boxing, it's a different animal, dude. I know there's a lot of corruption in it. But
That's why Mexicans succeed in it.
yeah.
No, seriously,
damn,
there's no way to
savage.
you you can't. It's the wild west of sports. There's no way to regulate it. You see what happens with Liga MX and Mexican football is regulated by one. Boy, we're being honest, one person, and they do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And in boxing, there's so many entities. It's impossible to try to like control everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember for one of the fights, that was one of the they wanted to do the testing. They couldn't decide when to do the drug testing, like if it was a day off or like before the match.
Or the blood
I can't.
testing.
Yeah, and then even with the gloves, they were talking about like that that they would do something with the gloves. I don't know if they would
Inspect
weigh
them.
them down or something.
You can't break them in. That's
Yeah.
what you can't do.
Mm.
So much shit. You're right, dude. There's a lot of shit in there. Even with the weigh-ins, right? Where it's like they find ways to cheat for the weigh-in and show up, with more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, or like
Well, it's
the
just a fine. You just pay a fine if you come in heavy, and they deduct X amount of your purse. The big thing with the gloves, where it comes into play, is the weight of the gloves,
mhm.
right? Because let's say I sparred with X weight, well, you had
They put
this one, well,
piedras in
tough
there.
shit. Exactly. Like, no, 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 te chingaste. Ahora te vas a cansar más.
Yeah, where's Margarito? I know he was putting like freaking yeso in his fucking wraps, and he damn
Fuck,
near
dude.
he damn near made a Kodo blind with that shit, dude.
Oh, that was bullshit. I mean, how did that guy not break his hand by punching? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. excuses, but I mean, these are the realities. I want to give you guys like the last 15 minutes to have your closing thoughts. We're almost at the 2 hour mark.
Oh yeah.
Well, once again, gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be on here with you guys. And America is going to win it all. I know I keep saying it, but this time I think it's going to come true since I've called in.